Hey, good morning. Good morning, Jonathan Pettis. Good to see you. Good morning, Mario Cavazos.
What's going on, fellas?
Yeah, man, the merch looks good on you, Mike. What do you think about the quality, though? I thought the shirt was very nice, like the quality of it.
Yeah, Chica liked the brand. I forgot what brand it was because originally we had the Gildan brand of T-shirt, but she was saying that this one's a lot better.
Yeah, that one's a lot better. I
Got the
think it's like
patch.
a canvas. Yeah, it's like a canvas shirt. She liked the alien logo.
She did. The new her merch is in the mail. We got notice that it's already here. We just haven't checked the mail.
Yeah. I saw you watch Jurassic Park. So did I.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I'm gonna retweet Jeff Garcia's photos of that video of that one dude in summer league going off.
Yeah. Matt Gomez is in the chat. Chris Gonzalez, Sam Salinas. Oh, they want to know the number for the media. I'll put that up here for you guys.
Welcome to another episode of the Area 210 podcast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast to you live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Area 210 podcast. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. We go for about an hour and a half talking sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. We have new merch out. Top right, the QR code if you want to take a look at that. But I got my new shirt over the weekend. Looks pretty good. Has the patch right there that says Alamo City Network right there. Joe, how you feeling today, my man?
Feeling good. Feeling well rested. I had a very relaxing 4th of July weekend. I needed to kind of recharge the batteries a bit. Just kind of stayed low key. Spent time with the family. Got to hang out with my nieces over the weekend. Like I told you, I'll have a lot of nieces, so got to hang out with a couple of them. It was good, just spending time with family.
You know, it was a very difficult weekend for a lot of us over here because of the news coming out of Kerrville, the news coming out of Llano and all the areas that were affected by the flooding. We were debating before the show started how to deal with this whole topic because, it has to be addressed. But at the same time, I know a lot of people want to get away from that because it was so inundated so much with that. But we saw the Dallas Cowboys donate $500,000. We saw the Houston Texans donate $500,000. The NFL Players Association donated $500,000 as well. There are reports out there that country legend George Strait has donated $3.5 million to the cause. We see videos of HEB 18-wheelers going up and down, bringing food and water and supplies to the area. Shakira, when she did her concert at the Alamo Dome, the part 2 had to redo it because of the issues that they had last month. They donated part of the proceeds. We're talking more than 80 people who died over the weekend in flooding. 24 of them, approximately, children, little girls at a Christian camp there in Kerrville, happened in the middle of the night, in the dark, just absolutely devastating. We just encourage people to donate if they can. If they can donate what they can to whatever groups are out there. I know Catholic Charities is doing stuff. I know HEB and FEMA and all that are out there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make this a political thing because it really shouldn't right now. Right now, it should be a thing where we talk about the families and we help the families grieve and through the whole process, and those communities need to rebuild. And it was very, very, very devastating over the weekend to hear all that, especially, if you're a parent, it hits you a little bit differently, especially if you have little girls. I have 2 girls myself. It's just unimaginable what happened over the weekend. And it's heartbreaking. I know a lot of people were giving crap on social media about the Spurs because we have the Texans that made an announcement.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys made an announcement. The NFL Players Association made an announcement. But what about the San Antonio Spurs? Are the Spurs going to donate anything? Because I tell you what, if they don't make an announcement soon, any support that they have for Project Marvel will unravel. Okay, this is a situation kind of like how people don't look the same way as Joel Osteen.
God.
after Hurricane Harvey devastated the Houston area, and Osteen refused to open up his church until he got shamed into doing so. I'm not saying that the Spurs haven't donated anything to it,
Yeah, we
but you
don't know
got
what
to
they're
make it
doing.
public. You have to make it public.
Yeah, we don't know
And
what
I,
they're
and
doing.
and right now, hands off right now. But if they don't do something by tomorrow, make an announcement by tomorrow, they should be ashamed of themselves. They really should.
Mm. Well, a lot of there's a lot of teams besides just the Spurs, but I understand where Spurs fan is coming from, but at the same time, we don't know what the organization has done. It's up to them if they want to go ahead and announce if they're going to go ahead and jump in the fray and donate money or how that works, how they're working with the NBA in regards to the whole thing. But, fans are a little upset. It is what it is at this time. I mean, to me, it's just like fans are always complaining about something, you know?
Well, yeah, last night when I first heard this, I didn't think anything of it. I thought to myself, it's 4th of July weekend. They'll all get back to work on Monday, whatever the case may be, right? They'll meet about it. So I wasn't upset about it yesterday. Right now, the temperature's going up in my blood right now. My blood's not boiling yet, but if they don't make an
Yeah.
announcement by this time tomorrow of a substantial amount of money, more than the Houston Texans, more than the Dallas Cowboys, because why? This is a San Antonio area. Then I'd have a big issue, Joe. I'm not going to unleash hell right now, but it's a coming if they don't do anything in the next 24 hours. That's for
Yeah.
sure. But Joe, let's talk about more positive things, man. This is an oasis away from all that happens in the world, right? We want to talk about sports and pop culture. We got the new merch, Joe.
Yeah,
Area
we sure
210
did.
merch. Chica's is literally in the mail. It's in the mailbox right now. We'll go get it at the end of the day. But we're excited about that. Excited to announce a new sponsor, Joe. Want to tell us about it?
Yeah, so we've inked out a deal here with PF Chang's. So they're going to be coming in as a sponsor of the show here. So we're going to start getting some, graphics and videos and whatnot ready to go for them. So just big old thank you to PF Chang's for joining the fray here and being part of the Alamo City Podcast Network.
That's right. The T-shirts have the merch right there. Thank you to Sean Quintero from PF Chang's as well. It's a fantastic place to eat. Chica and I have been there a few times together. Take the kids. What they're doing at the PF Chang's at La Cantera is they're redoing the outdoor area. So if you've been out there, you know that it's one of the stores or one of the restaurants right outside the parking lot. Right. You walk in, they have this patio area, but now they've installed new TVs. Newer furniture, newer things out there to make it more exciting and accessible for sports fans out there. The bar is actually very good at PF Chang's. I never thought about that, Joe.
Yeah, it's
I've
not
gone
bad,
out there to
right?
hang out with friends before. The old fashioned that they have there is amazing. They have drink specials pretty much every night over there, bottle specials and bottle service over there. So check them out, PF Chang's, new sponsor of Area 210 podcasts. Again, the information will go up there. The logos and graphics, we're building those right now, but those will go out there. Phone number on the screen right there, 830-391-9164. That is if you have media that you want to share with us, whether it be a link, a video, a clip, something that you think that would be part of the show, that would be a good, fun part of the show. Give us a text, 830-391-9164. The chat is going on right now. We see Jonathan Perez, Alex Noriega, Chris Gonzalez, Mario Cavazos, Chris Leja in the mix right now. Dude, they are just talking it up about the Gold Cup, the CONCACAF Gold Cup yesterday, which took part at here in Houston, right? So you had Team USA going against Team Mexico. Is it weird, Joe, that on 4th of July weekend, more people are in that building cheering for Team Mexico than Team USA? Is that weird, Joe? Is that
No.
is that bad? Is it bad for me? Is it a bad look for Mexican Americans in particular
No.
to
That's
cheer
that
for?
tells you all you need to know right there. Mexican American. You can cheer for Mexico. That's where a lot of us come from. We have origins that come from your migration from Mexico over to Texas, or you were here already when it was part of Mexico and you
Right.
just stayed here. You know what I mean? So
That's what I
it's
was gonna
like,
say. I mean, this is Texas. Texas is
yeah.
Mexico. I mean, come on, man.
So I mean,
Mexico extended all the way to Colorado, for crying out loud. I find that to be funny, though. I mean, all the jokes about how ICE should have been out there would have been easy pickings out there. But it was a 2-1 final. Controversy in the second half there when there was a handball there that didn't get called. Should have been a penalty kick for Team USA. Didn't happen. Got a header to end the game. Mexico wins 2-1. Joe, I know a lot of people give me crap for saying that it's just soccer. Okay, Leha was giving me crap on social media the other day about it. I think he was directing it at me without saying my name, right? Soccer is a big sport worldwide. Why, Joe?
what?
Because most countries are poor.
Oh God, here we go.
That's facts. It doesn't take much money to play soccer. You need a ball and a net. And if you don't have a net, you have 2 trees. It is a poor man's sport, and that is why it is worldwide accepted. Because here's the thing, Joe, about 80% of the world's poor. It's
Do you know,
true.
this
80% of
is
the world is in poverty. You
this
don't
is the
realize
thing,
that.
Mike.
The poorest Americans are rich compared to most parts of the world. It's true.
Soccer has its origins going all the way back to the Aztecs, you know, the Mayans and all that. They used to play that game where it was like basically that's where sudden death came from, the term. Because if you lost, you got died, you know. But
Black
they had
Bucket.
the yeah, what does he
Black
say?
Bucket's comment right here, Joe. Soccer fans need to make more money.
Yeah, that is funny though. Look at what Leha's saying. He goes, "Soccer is poor sport." He goes, "But the richest contracts come from soccer." You know,
Because they have the most number of fans.
that's a
They have the most
worldwide
number of
sport.
fans.
They have it's more popular than American football or American basketball
Oh, by far.
by far. You know what else is funny though that people don't understand?
Cricket.
Cricket, bro.
I knew you were going to go
Cricket.
there.
Cricket. When you look at the ratings for the Cricket World Cup, it outshines the Super Bowl by far.
Right.
And it's another sport that's a worldwide sport. But I'm just saying, I mean, you go back and you look and see where soccer got its origins from, going way back when, you know, where they were just playing the that game with the rubber orifice, you know, the little ball that they made out of
Right.
rubber from the tree, trying to put it through the little hoop, you know, up there situated on a wall. You know, that like I said, that's where the term sudden death came from. But you can trace it back to that, and it just grew from there, you know, and it's a worldwide sport. A lot of kids, and it's easy to get into. I think that's why it's so popular, because you just need a ball. Then you can just have some of your friends, if you're a kid, just kick the ball around, have fun, you know, and just go
Right.
out there and let the kids be kids. You don't have to, you know, do anything special. Like you need a hoop, you know, with basketball to go out there
Right.
and hoop, you know, or you go and get a milk crate or something, you know, like back in the day. Soccer's just an easier sport to get into, and I think that's why it has worldwide appeal, more
It has
so than basketball.
worldwide appeal because again, it is a relatively inexpensive sport to play. That is true, and it's actually pretty easy to understand the rules behind it all. Right? There's not a lot of. It's not a very complex game. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not any strategy, but it's not like running NFL, right, or high school football, which has very complex plays. It's a simple game. It takes a lot of stamina. Oh my God, playing soccer has got to be the worst game to play as far as stamina is concerned. There's no such thing as a weak soccer player. Soccer is one hell of a sport when it comes to athleticism. That I will give them. But it is a poor sport, and that's why it's so popular worldwide,
God,
dude.
bro.
That's why it is. That's why it is.
I'll just say, like, if you look at the soccer gear, right, and what you need to play the game,
American soccer gear is different than, say, Dominican Republican soccer gear, Joe. They're
I'm
not
just
playing
saying, dude. I mean,
$4,000 a year club games over there in the Dominican Republic. They're just playing ball, right? That's why they're better than us because they just play ball. That's the thing about it, Joe. And then, I mean, look at it this way, Joe. There's a socioeconomic status to every sport that's out there, whether it's basketball or football, golf or tennis. Joe, there ain't gonna be no poor school that has a soccer gonna have a tennis legend, except for Serena Williams back in the day. That might be the only time that has ever happened. There's a socioeconomic position to sports. It's not something that it should be said. All right, it's not what's it called, politically correct to say that, But it's true. It's true. Soccer's a poor sport.
Yeah.
It's a poor man's sport, but they have the most number of eyes, which gets the most number of advertisers, which gets the most number of dollars. So it's kind of weird how that all happens. American football is the one sport that no one cares about worldwide.
Jeez.
No one cares about American football other than us here in the U.S.
A lot of people do, Mike. That's why you have the World Cup. That's why you have the rabid fan base that you have. Like that, you don't. I don't think you understand. Like when it comes to soccer culture, it's you're very loyal to
No.
that team. Like
When
the
is it going to
roots grow
happen in the
deep.
United States, Joe? When is it going to finally happen in the United States? I've been hearing this shit for 40 years. Sorry for the curse word. $1. That'll be my
Dollar.
one curse word for the week. When is this going to happen finally in the U.S.? I feel it like a. I'll give you an example, Joe. So many people were talking about how the WNBA was going to finally become big in the U.S., right? It took 30 years. And it took a certain number of things to happen. It took a Caitlin Clark, a Paige Beckers, an Angel Reese. It took lots of things. It took a Kelsey Plum. It took a Asia Wilson. It took everything to happen, right? Back in the day when we had Cheryl Miller and Cheryl Swoops, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be big one day. And it finally happened. Year 2024, 2025, the WNBA finally became a thing. My question is, when is soccer really going to become a super thing here in the U.S.? Because if you were to rank it between fandom, Joe, football's king. NFL football is king in the United States, right? You would go off and say number 2 is probably NBA. Where in the pecking order is soccer, and is it on its way up?
I think it's on its way up, but the problem with soccer is that you have the women's team, right? The United States women's team, and they're just so good, and then you have the men's team, and they're not so good. And the rise of popularity, I guess, in soccer would all stem on how well the United States men's team does. Now, if the men's team is winning as well as the women's team, it's going to be more popular, no doubt, because they're going to have better ratings. More people are going to be able to see, the sport. They're going to get behind it. They're going to get excited for it. And you can't tell me that soccer isn't popular, because if you go and you see what happens during the World Cup, they have watch parties all over the city.
Oh,
Like
dude,
people
I
come
go
out
to
in
watch
mass
parties
for
for World
that.
Cup, dude.
It's
I've gone to
popular.
World Cup parties, dude. But that's the thing, though. There's T-shirt fan, casual fan, and then there's the diehards, right?
Yeah.
And the diehards exist in everything. I mean, there's diehards for golf, dude. If you go to the what's it called, where the Texas Open is being played up on the north side in Stone Oak, if you go over there, you're going to see diehard golf fans, right? There's diehards for every sport. My question for you is, will soccer ever be a top 3 sport in the United States?
I think at some point in time it will be, but right now, as of now, it's not, and it's unfortunate, but I mean, the popularity of the sport will rise based on how well, like I said, the men's team will do. The women's team is doing quite well, like they were even saying here in the chat. And Matt Gomez points out they won 4 World Cups. That's a huge accomplishment, man.
It's a huge
Winning a World
accomplishment,
Cup is a huge thing to do.
and that has manifested into what?
Them getting better pay when it comes to playing soccer, getting in front of more eyes, being on that global stage,
Joe, when was the
representing
last time you were
America.
like, you know what? We got to go see this women's soccer match, man. They're playing in Houston.
I do
They're
watch
playing in
this.
Austin. They're
I
playing in
watch
Dallas.
women's soccer
When was the last
with
time
my
you were
daughter.
when was the last time you were like, hey, let's watch some women's soccer on TV, man?
That's the
Dude,
funny
doesn't
thing. That's the
happen.
funny thing, Mike, is like I watch soccer with my daughter. That's our thing. Like especially when it comes to like the World Cup and stuff.
Yeah.
Me and her get quite excited about it, and I've done it on purpose. Even when we had the Silver Stars here, the women's NBA, WNBA team here in San Antonio, I would take her to those games because it was important for me when she was growing up as a child to show her that there's a place for women in sports. It's not just a men's world, and I
Now,
just
I will
wanted to
say
show
this,
her
Joe.
that.
I will say this, Joe. Here's some positives I see about soccer right now. You see Messi playing with Miami, right? That's a big deal. I know Messi's not in his prime. Before that, he had David Beckham, who played for the LA Galaxy. That's a big deal. You get more star power when it comes to it. People are mentioning on the chat right now, which is powered by PF Chang's, that more and more people wearing the jerseys. I do see that, Joe. Okay,
Yeah.
I do see that. But it's not. None of the jerseys that I see, Joe, are American clubs, unless you're looking at that pink Miami one that says Messi on the back. It's usually some club in England, some club in
Hey,
Spain,
Messi
or
proved he still had it, Mike. If you saw
or
some of the highlights.
oh well, Messi. I mean, Messi is a all time great. He's playing against U.S. players who don't, who wouldn't be able to play up in England. I mean, come on, man. I mean, we're AAA. I mean, MSL's AAA. Let's call it what it is. All right. The big leagues is over in Mexico. The big leagues are over in England. That's the big leagues, right? But you look at it this way, Joe. Are people more excited about the country ball? When you have USA against Mexico, or when you have US against Spain, they're more excited about that than they are an MLS team. Am I not mistaken in that? I mean,
I
no one
think
gives a crap about Austin FC, do they?
no one cares about. They don't. Well, here's the thing. Austin has a Major League Soccer team, but they did it by being shady and dirty, and I think that's what's tainted their presence so close here to San Antonio, where the San Antonio Spurs, not San Antonio Spurs, but the San Antonio fan base is loyal to the San Antonio FC ball club that they have here in town. They don't want to support that Austin-based team because there's bad blood there, Mike.
Right. And there's reason for that, Joe, and I agree with that.
It's hard. It's hard for them to get behind that because you know what? In the grand scheme of things, you look at it, San Antonio was more deserving of having an MLS team than Austin was.
Why?
They have the fan base here. They have the facility to go ahead and welcome an MLS.
What doesn't the city have?
It's not always about the money. They already
It always is about money, Joe. All sports
Mike.
is about money. That's why Austin gets stuff and San Antonio doesn't. It's all about the money, Joe. That's why Austin FC exists and San Antonio FC is not in the MLS. It's about money. And the city of San Antonio has no money. That's the problem. You can have the most rabid fan base of all time, Joe. If you've got no commercial team, if you have no companies out there to sponsor, you got no team. That's why NFL will never go to San Antonio. That is why you'll never see a Major League Baseball team in San Antonio. There's no business infrastructure there to do the endorsements, which is why Austin FC exists.
I'm going to push back on you because you keep calling San Antonio poor. Yes. It's not that the city is so poor. What really is the deal killer with a lot of these things is the infrastructure that's in place here in San Antonio. And let me remind you, because you travel a lot, just like I like to travel as well. It's hard to get back home. It's hard to get out of Texas. You have to get a connecting flight somewhere else. And a lot of these big cities, they have direct flights, and it makes it easier to traverse, the airwaves, the air, should I say. Right. And that's the thing with San Antonio is that it's hard to get here. If they made that easier for people to get to San Antonio, it would be a more of a destination, And the other thing is they need to do something else about the public transportation that they have here available to, people just to get around town. People don't want to get on the Via, bro.
No one wants to get on the Via, Joe. No one wants to do public transportation. A bullet train, people might have some interest in that, right?
Going you could get from here to Austin, Houston, Dallas.
Houston, right. Yes, a bullet train. Dude, nobody wants to go on a Via, dude. No one wants to go. If you're on a Via going to a game, you have no money. Yeah. True, dude. Come on, man. There ain't nobody with money taking the bus. Worst case scenario, you're taking an Uber, dude. Seriously, man. I don't know. And for those of you saying that soccer's too ethnic for Michael, I have enjoyed going to SAFC games, right? But I enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Now, people were saying, Rafa, I believe, on our chat here was saying relegation is what MLS needs. Dude, I'm a big proponent of that. Just the idea of relegation makes soccer cool. That gives it cool points for me when it comes to it all. Because if you don't finish in the top, if you finish in the bottom four, you drop a level, and those in the league above you go up a level.
Yeah,
dude, that is cool, man. That is so much fun to look at.
Hey, we do have an incoming super chat coming in here, hot by Sam Salinas.
Here comes the money.
So Sam Salinas says your argument is completely wrong, Mike. He says soccer in the USA is a rich man's sport because of pay to the play. He goes the best kids in America can't afford to play.
You actually proved my point. I mean, well, put that back up there, Joe.
There you
Sam,
go.
you're proving me right. You're saying that I'm wrong, but you just proved me right with your comment there. Okay. It is a rich man sport where, Joe? In the U.S. It's a rich man sport here. But elsewhere, it's not. Chica and I were talking about this the other day about how, she played softball growing up, right? She played college softball. She played high school softball and all that stuff. Back in the day, you could just go play tournaments and it was no big deal. But now if you're playing softball, if you're playing baseball, basketball, AAU or something like that, you're spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year to travel to play sports. And that is ridiculously stupid.
Yeah.
It is stupid. And for soccer to be a quote-unquote a rich man sport here is probably the reason why it sucks compared to the other parts of the country, other parts of the world, rather. And the other thing about it, Joe, is this. The best athletes in these poor countries play two sports. They play either soccer or they play track and field. The best athletes in the United States who are 16, 17, 18 years old, they play football, they play baseball, they play basketball, they play other sports. Chica's over here doing her wind up here. She's showing me her batting stance as she walks away.
She's gonna show us how she needs to show us her pitching stance.
Oh, she didn't pitch. She was a catcher.
Oh, she was a catcher. Okay.
She was a catcher, yeah. But Joe, I don't know, man. I just look at it this way. I've been told for 40 years that soccer was going to be the next big thing, and I have seen the popularity increase and grow. I have. But I don't think it's ever anywhere near a top 3 sport in the United States. Just don't. And San Antonio, got screwed over by Austin. But why did they go to Austin? They went to Austin for the money, Joe. But it was nice to see San Antonio FC beat Austin FC, which I find that to be interesting how they play each other from time to time in the exhibitions and whatnot.
Oh, Chris Orozco, you're not lying, bro.
It's too ethnic for Mike. It is.
You'll never take the last time right.
The last time I rode a Via bus was going to an Alamo Bowl game with my brother-in-law. He convinced me to go, let's see, about 10, 15 years ago, right? Never again. You'll never catch me on the Via bus, Joe. You'll never. Public transit's not the reason why people don't go to sporting events, because if you need to have public transit, you can't afford the tickets to go into that sporting event. Which is why Project Marvel is a big deal. Project Marvel is a big deal. That'll change the perception of San Antonio. Maybe Terminal 3 at the airport changes that as well.
Hey, I was going to show this on screen too, because our good friends here, which are supporters of the San Antonio FC Soccer Club, they're going to be doing something here. They're going to be having a tailgate coming up here. Mm-hmm. And it says, a big win in El Paso brings us closer to the Copa Tejas. I said, but our hearts are with the Hill Country neighbors impacted by flooding. They're going to be collecting donations at their tailgate, cash or cash app,
cool,
for the Red Cross on behalf of FTC de San Antonio and 2-0 Alliance. Total raise will be posted after the match. He goes, let's show up for the team and our fellow Texans. FTC de San Antonio and 2-0 Alliance, both great groups out there, supporter groups. It's great to see them doing something like this. But again, they always do things like this because they love the community.
They do. They do. And I'll be honest with you, going to the San Antonio FC game, or a match rather, has been fun. I've been a couple of times. I've enjoyed it out there. The tailgating's fun. Any tailgate's fun, Joe. Any tailgate is fun. We had the big argument over the weekend about on social media. I don't know if you saw this. Someone putting a rendering of what a UTSA football stadium would look like. Did you see that?
I did see that.
We need to get that guy on, man. There's this guy that's doing a podcast now, and it's all about UTSA sports. He's doing a very good job. I've taken a listen at it. He does a pretty good job. He had a rendering the other day of what a UTSA stadium would look like, and was asking the question, is it better for fans to go to the Alamo Dome, a stadium that has 60,000 seats, right, but only 25,000 fans in there, or is it better to have 25,000 fans in a stadium that seats 30,000 people? What's
the trade-off here, right? You got to ask yourself this. If you're going to go ahead and build a stadium on campus, why would you do that? If you're a big college, like UTSA is here in San Antonio, why would you do that? What's the trade-off for doing something like that? And it's to showcase the campus.
That's exactly it.
You're going ahead and showcasing your campus, your beautiful campus here, because you want to entice people, young people, or even people that are just looking for a higher education to come to your school. That's the trade-off. That's why you would build a stadium on campus. The thing with UTSA, they do have, they could buy more real estate. They have space where they could do this. They choose not to, and at the end of the day, it boils down to money. One of the things that they need to sorely do before they even think about building a stadium to play, let's say, football on the campus, is do something about that basketball. The
Okay,
basketball auditorium, bro, it is
okay. So
so dated, man.
which is worse, UTSA's basketball facilities or their baseball facilities?
Both are bad, bro. They need to
Which
do
one's bad?
something about both of them.
Joe, did you call UTSA poor?
I didn't call them poor. I'm just saying they need to address that. I'm just like, it's a smaller campus than UT, but at the end of the day, UTSA is spending money to keep, let's say, their sports program rolling, right? They're pumping money into the football program like crazy, but they need to go ahead and look at the program as a whole and say, all right, the football program is bringing you in money, but also, wouldn't you want to showcase the best of what you have to offer in case not your football, but your basketball program takes off?
Right.
Your baseball program right now is doing great. I mean, you gotta spread the love.
I want to jump on that. We do have a Sam Salinas saying Darian Starling is his name. That's correct. That's exactly who I was thinking about there. Former player, he says, has a great podcast. That's all UTSA. Writes articles on the X as well. He does an amazing job. Whoever Darian Starling is, we need to have him on the podcast because he's doing an amazing job. Journalistically, he does a fantastic job. His conversation pieces are very good. That guy has a really big future ahead of him. But to go back on what you said, Joe, showcasing the campus, that's a big deal, Joe.
It is.
And I posted on Twitter the other day when I saw Starling's article about that, or the renderings, I said UTSA fans just don't know any better, right? Because this football team's only been around for about 15 years. And prior to that, there was no football team there, right? So UTSA fans don't know what it's like to go. It's kind of like Spurs fans who don't watch the Rockets play, don't watch the Mavericks play, don't watch anybody else play but their own team. And so they don't know what anything else looks like. They've never been to any other stadium. UTSA fans look at the tailgating at the Alamo Dome and think it's good. Don't be wrong, I've had fun times there, right?
Yeah.
I go to the tailgates, but it's not the same as you would get at a tailgate at a UT, at an LSU, at a Texas Tech, at a Texas A&M, or any of these other places that I've been to over the years. It's not the same. Texas State, it's not the same because, as you said, it showcases the campus. You have to physically get onto campus, and just physically driving through the gates gives you a certain feeling. The ambiance changes, right? And then you see the colors, the school colors and all that. Go into the Alamo Dome. There's nothing there that's exciting about that at all. And the fans that come out and say, well, it's air conditioned, really pisses me off because football is an outdoor sport.
Hey, you know what I was going to say? You look at Texas State, right? Texas State and UTSA comparable schools as far as size goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me it's not about the money, because Texas State, don't they have their own stadium?
Yeah, Texas State does have its own, and it's also part of the UT system as well.
Texas State has its own stadium. Why not UTSA?
UTSA did not prioritize athletics for anything up until like 15 years ago, right? 15 years ago is when they started to finally figure it out that maybe athletics is a big draw to the campus, right? That's part of it, right? Because if you go to UT, they tell you about the athletics. You can be part of this, and you can have the love for UT athletics, and you can go out there and enjoy that and spend time watching them play. That's a big draw. A&M does the exact same thing. UTSA is finally coming around to it, but doesn't have facilities.
Yeah.
What was that last one? The only thing that came out of Texas? Oh, my God. Next topic.
If you know, you know, bro. Cochino Mike wanted to see that comment again.
Jordan Schneider says the best thing to come out of Texas State is actually George Strait, and that'll give him.
There you go. George Strait, LBJ.
Lyndon Baines Johnson, that's right. That's funny.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, man, at the end of the day, they need to do something about maybe thinking about, at some point in time, building a stadium on the campus, again, to showcase the campus. And that way you can go ahead and also increase the amount of students that show up to said game. Because when you think about it, where UTSA, the campus is situated, they do have like buses and stuff that can take the students over to the Alamo Dome. But that's like a 20-mile plus drive. You got to get on the bus, you got to drive out there, then come back. My daughter's done that several times when she was living on the campus there in the dorms with her friends. And I mean, she was all right with it. She said it wasn't a bad experience getting on the bus and then going out there, and then it would bring them back to campus. But if they made things more accessible to the students, you would have a bigger student section show up.
Right.
It would mean a little bit more.
So I'm being called out right now on what's it called? Twitter right now. So Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's Five posted a clip of me talking about the Spurs and the Texas floods and Project Marvel, kind of how they're all interconnected. That the Spurs have to, I said, have to donate, and make it public as to what they're doing to support the area, because this is their area. Someone named Figs, who likes to troll at me for everything that I say, by the way, says, I want to know how much he donated. Where's his contribution before you start asking for others? Shaking my head. Here's the thing. Chica and I are very charitable. We do things. We like to bless others and things like that. A donation will be made in our name to events out there. But the thing is, we wanted to see who was going to be out there making, who's asking for donations, Joe. We want to see what organizations are out there. I'm not going to send my money to the federal government, right? I'm not going to send my money. I want to see who's out there. Is it the Salvation Army? Is it Catholic Charities? Who's out there? What exactly are they doing? Do you know who I'd rather donate my money to? Is HEB, because they're actually on the ground doing stuff. But a donation will be made. Okay. Who are you doing? And I'm asking you, Joe. I'm asking this Figs guy. Who are you donating to? You gonna sit there and do anything? Because I am. You know, when Hurricane Harvey happened, Joe, my daughter and I went to Refugio, and we helped a family clean their yard. And we donated our time out there and donated money to go out there as part of a church-ish event that we had out there. Don't ever call me out on that, dude. I will donate. I am going to donate, and it'll be an amount that I feel is comfortable within our budget to do so. But I practice what I preach when it comes to that, dude. You should too. Joe, that wasn't to you. That was to whoever that Figs guy was. George Strait donated $3.5 million. That's amazing. He lives out there in Cordillera Ranch, which is pretty damn close to that area out there. He's probably within 20 miles of where everything went down.
We got some comments coming in. The Spurs are going to host a barbecue plate sale. Oh, God.
Speaking of the Spurs, Joe, who the hell's this Garcia guy, Joe?
Oh, man. His brother came out of nowhere, man. You know, he's
Spurs fans starting to salivate a little bit, huh?
Yeah, Spurs Summer League, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, the thing is that, like what I was saying on the Locked On Spurs that me and Jeff recorded, that's going to be released today. We recorded it yesterday. You need to look beyond just the points that said players put up there. Just because they can drop a ton of points doesn't mean it'll translate well into that next level. A lot of the things that the coaching staff are going to look for is just beyond points. They're going to look and see, how did this player affect the outcome of the game? Because you can drop a ton of points, but also how many turnovers did you have? How many of those turnovers turned into points going the opposite way for the opposing team? You know, were these turnovers in crunch time? You know, what does that say about you? You're not able to hold on to the ball. You're making poor decisions with the ball. You know, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, it's not always about points, but you get excited when you see a player putting up these types of numbers. You know, Spurs yesterday, they had a close game against the Warriors, and they were able to ink out a win there without, you know, Carter Bryant out there.
Right.
You know, he didn't play. Dylan Harper's not going to play until they get to Las Vegas. And there were some Spurs fans that were actually coming at Carter Bryant. We're going to show this here on the media share that the fans here are sharing with us. And look at the comments, man. They said, can't wait to see him on the Zing Zang Flying Tigers. Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. I'm like, for one game? He only played one game. He didn't play very well, you know, but it was his first game.
7 points? He had 7 points, knocked down a couple 3-pointers.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know what Spurs fans are expecting out of this kid. You know, I mean, he hasn't played basketball in quite some time. He's rusty. He's coming in, you know?
The expectations of him are going to be awful. And they're going to be awful because he is a lottery pick, Joe. Number 14 in the draft is a lottery pick. So therefore, you have to produce as though you are a lottery player, right? And I look at it this way. So many red flags have popped up on this guy. The fact that he played only 19 minutes per game in college, that he couldn't even crack his own lineup in college, that he averaged only 6 points per game. Oh, yeah, he shot 37%, 38% from three, but only shot, 2 per game. There's not enough tape on him, Joe. And then you see this David Jones Garcia go off for 25 points.
Yeah.
And then you look at him, David Jones Garcia. How old is he, Joe? Is he 21? Is he 19 years old? No. Born in 2001. So he's 23 years old. He's Dominican. He played for Mexico City in the G League last year, right?
Yep.
He played ball for 3 big programs in college. 4 years of ball. DePaul University, which is in Chicago. St. John's, and he played with the Memphis Tigers. He represents the Dominican Republic in FIBA events. This is a guy that has experience, Joe. This is a guy that goes out there, and he's 6'6". He can knock down threes. You look at his stats in the G League, and you're like, well, wait a minute. This guy actually is a little bit of a baller, Joe. He was first team all G League last year.
Yeah.
He's on so the Spurs could maybe give him a two-way contract where he bounces back and forth between the Austin Spurs and the San Antonio Spurs, or they can just give him a damn roster spot.
Yeah, he's a forward. They still got 2 open spots on their roster as of to date. But David Jones yesterday, he played a total of 29 minutes, 13 seconds against the Warriors, scored 25 points, 6 turnovers. He had 3 assists, 3 steals. It's not a bad stat line, man.
Not at all.
You're just, again, I mean, I'm not nitpicking here and saying, oh, he turned the ball over 6 times. I'm just saying it's like it affects the way that said player is looked on. I mean, the coaching staff will nitpick every little thing about these players and say, you know what? Can this guy, are we going to give him a roster spot? Are we going to go? How is he going to fit with the team?
Right.
There's a lot of different variables that go into the decision making.
Spurs just see talent out there, man.
Yeah, and the kid can play, man. He can play. I mean, you had him balling out yesterday. You had other people, contributing as well. You had Dexter Dennis, 10 points. You had Amari Moore, 13 points. You look at Jameer Nelson Jr., a name that Spurs fans have been salivating over as well, 12 points. I mean,
Jones Garcia reportedly had DePaul University's first ever triple-double against Georgetown in a win against Georgetown. He had 22 points, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists in a game.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about this, Joe, and we see this in the NFL as well. There are certain players who come out that are 19, 20 years old, and they come out because they have a lot of athleticism, a lot of promise, right? But then you have these quarterbacks who are there for 4 years, who have just been through battles, who have played SEC ball, and they kind of just hang around. And who's more prepared to enter the NFL? Same goes with the NBA. Who's more prepared to go in the NBA right now? Who's more prepared for right now, Joe? 19, 20-year-old Carter Bryant, who played 19 minutes per game in college and averaged 6 points per game? Or is it this Jones Garcia kid who was a G League all first team last year, who played 4 years of college ball and has a lot of miles on the odometer?
Yeah.
Who's more ready right now, Joe?
We don't know yet. We haven't seen Harper play a single minute in Summer League. And, that's
Harper doesn't need any of this play. Harper's too good.
Here's what's going to happen, dude. When they go out and put their draft picks out there like Harper, they're going to put out Carter Bryant out there. They're going to play limited minutes. They're going to play maybe 1 or 2 games, and they're going to yank them. Or maybe play 1 game, and they'll be like, all right, you got your reps in. You got it. You got to go out there and play some ball for a little bit. We're going to go ahead and pull you because we don't want them to, the Spurs staff doesn't want them to get injured in Summer League. They want to save them for the regular season. I understand that, but you're not going to see a lot of the kids play. And I think the thing is with Carter, for example, Carter Bryant here, Spurs fans are I don't know what they're expecting out of him. It seems like they want a lot of production out of him points wise. That's not why they drafted him, man. They're drafting him because of his defensive prowess his ability to go out there and crash the boards. But when I say crash the boards, you got to look and see his scouting reports. You got to go ahead and see what does he specialize in when he's crashing the boards. Offensive rebounds. The Spurs need somebody that can go ahead and crash the boards and get those offensive rebounds because they were getting, absolutely trashed when it came to offensive rebounds last season. He can help with that. He's going to help space the floor. And I think that's what Spurs fans need to look at. When you have Bryant out there, you're looking at somebody who is more of a role player that's going to help space the floor a little bit.
Yeah, we spent a lottery pick on a role player.
That's it. That's exactly right. That's what I'm saying. You spent the lottery pick on a role player, but you need role players to help the team get better. The thing that the Spurs, again, are still missing is they're still missing the three-point shooting prowess. They have done nothing to go ahead and solidify that. So they're going to run it back again. You expect the same results.
You know what the worst thing that ever happened to the Spurs was? Kawhi Leonard. And not because he left us high and dry.
Yeah.
Not because of Uncle Dennis. The worst thing that ever happened to the Spurs was Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard was somebody who was not very good offensively in college that developed a game in the NBA. Shooting coach, Chip Engelland, all of that stuff. He developed a shot and became a superstar. Somebody who couldn't play offense at all in college developed it in the NBA. That never happens. And what have the Spurs been trying to do ever since then? They've been trying to replicate that. They've been trying to get these defensive guys and go, okay, I know you can't shoot a lick right now, but we're gonna teach you how to shoot. We're gonna teach you how to shoot in the NBA, right? You're gonna get good. You could be just like Kawhi. This guy could be just like Kawhi. Worst thing that ever happened to the Spurs was Kawhi Leonard, because we think that we can draft people who don't know how to shoot and actually teach them how to shoot. Dude, if you can't shoot in college, you can't shoot in the pros. You can't.
Yeah.
And the idea that they're gonna somehow develop a shot is a load of crap.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
The only one's ever done it in the 40 years I've been watching the Spurs is Kawhi. Tony Parker developed a shot, but was he ever lethal? Was he ever like a top, player at shooting? No, he developed a shot. He developed something.
Got that teardrop.
Got the teardrop, but he brought that to the team anyway.
Yeah, we do have a incoming super chat that we got to address here.
That's right, baby.
Coming in hot.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Hanover Fist. He says, "Grito for the MX." He goes, for the Mexico World Cup win. He goes, "Viva Mexico, cabrones!" So we're gonna go ahead and play it, man. Let's get that grito.
Presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Oh yes, he loves him some soccer too, Joe.
Yeah, and
remember back in the day, that guy that would scream "goal"?
Goal.
That guy had a moment, man.
Yeah, I think he also wanted this one too, because in honor of the Mexican team going on, we're gonna go ahead and give him the new grito as well.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
With the little dog barking in the background, dude. That one's always the best.
That's so funny, dude. That's so funny. Oh, Joe, it's so funny right now. Spurs fans, we're on pins and needles right now because we're trying to find out exactly, can we coalesce into what is the one thing that we want from the Spurs this year? How do we pinpoint what is a good season? Is it playoffs or bust?
Playoffs or bust?
Make the play-in, make it to 500. What is it? We're on pins and needles because we don't know what it's like to have De'Aaron Fox play with Victor Wembanyama. We don't know what it's like for Dylan Harper to go out there and share minutes with Devin Vassell and Stephon Castle. We don't know what these big guys are going to bring. The Spurs have addressed the big guy that's coming in from the Celtics. How does he fit into the mix? A lot of unanswered questions when it comes to it, Joe. And I think Spurs fans, it's been 6 losing seasons in a row. We have a new head coach in Mitch Johnson. A lot of frustration, a lot of nervousness as Spurs fans right now. And then you take a look right now and you take a look at Carter Bryant and you're like, is that the guy? Is Dylan Harper? Dylan Harper will be the guy. I have no problem with Dylan Harper. There's just a lot going on with the Spurs fans right now, Joe. I think we're in our feels. I think it's how the kids describe it.
The Spurs fans are just tired of the losing. They want to see the Spurs again, like, just like myself included. That's why we're so critical of the team at times. They want to just see them get back and be in the playoffs. It's not going to be good enough just to make the play-in and then get absolutely trashed. You want to see the team do well and get into the playoffs. If it's the play-in or bust, go ahead, get past the play-in, but you want to see them in the playoffs. The consolation prize for them is they beat said team in the play-in, and then they get to play the number 1 seed if they're the eighth seed.
Yeah.
The 8 versus 1. All right. I mean, it's something to get excited about. You're seeing the team make a leap, make progress, because for the last 6 seasons, they haven't even been relevant in anything as far as even being named to, they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to get to the play-in. They came in close this last season, but because of injury to both Wemby and Fox, Sohan sitting out, they even set out Vassell for a little bit there as well. It just wasn't meant to be, so hopefully this coming season, it's the battle cry should be, the expectations should be playoff or bust.
Who's the one player that's going to determine this, Joe?
Wemby.
The one player to determine it's Wemby. I'll agree with you on that. Who's the player other than Wemby that needs to take a leap this year in order for the Spurs to actually make a playoff-bound team? Who needs to take a leap?
You need production, high production out of Vassell. I'm tired of seeing Vassell go out there and absolutely lay an egg when it matters most. He's very inconsistent. And he knows this himself. I bet you he understands that. You need to be consistent. The more consistent you are, the better chance you have of helping your team win games. You can't go out there and drop 23 or 30 points and then the next night just absolutely lay an egg. No point production. That can't happen. You got to be consistent. I don't care if he drops 20 points a game. If he drops 15 and he has, being able to get his teammates involved in the game in some capacity, give him the ball, get them more involved. Don't be a ball hog, because that's the one thing that Devin Vassell is. I'm going to call him out. He's a ball hog. He gets the ball in his hand. He ain't passing it. He's going to take that shot, whether it's good or not. And that's detrimental to the team because at the end of the day, he's just like, you know what? F you. I'm going to go ahead and pad my stats. I want my point.
And that's the attitude that he sometimes takes. He plays a lot of hero ball sometimes. Remember when Wemby first got on the team? Vassell refused to pass Wemby the ball for an open 3 to win a game because Vassell wanted to take the shot. And Vassell even said, "This is my team." It's not your team anymore, man. I don't think Vassell knows his role on this particular team. I don't think even if you gave him starter minutes and he came off the bench and was a 6th man and you gave him 30 minutes per game, I think he'd still be pissed off. I think he thinks that he's a star waiting to happen, but we all know that it's not going to. What I find funny is that on our chat powered by PF Chang's at La Cantera, I asked the question, who needs to take the leap? And everyone's giving different names. Some are saying Wemby, some are saying Fox, some are saying Vassell, some are saying Sohan. That's the problem with the Spurs right now, Joe, is that we just got a bunch of dudes.
They're correct in saying that, both Fox and Wemby need to step up. Yeah, I mean, once they're both healthy, the consensus is those are going to be your 2 best players, surrounded by the supporting cast, which you're going to have who? The Toto Corolla in the mix. That's going to be done every night. That's going to be Harrison Barnes. Then beyond him, you want to see a little bit of a leap there out of Castle. Are you going to go ahead and address the shooting situation? Are you going to become a more consistent shooter? What's going to happen there? But again, Vassell and Wemby just can't be on the court together at the same time. It doesn't work. I hope Mitch Johnson addresses that. And you know what? I've seen some people here in the chat have said the same thing that I've been thinking for some time. Why not go ahead and just move Vassell to the bench? What's wrong with that? He would be better served playing with that second unit because he wouldn't be getting in the way of Wemby. They're oil and water. Vassell needs too many touches. He's a ball hog. He ain't passing that ball, bro. He's going to take that shot, whether it's good or bad. Wemby out there open, everybody else open. You give the ball to Vassell. He's like, F your feelings, bro. I'm going to take this shot. I see you open, but I don't care. He's probably not going to make it. And that's a detriment to the team. I think he's better at being the man. He wants to be the man Be the man with the second unit.
I don't know if he has that in him, man. I don't know if he has that the self-awareness to humble himself into that position that you want there, Joe. I really don't. I like Tavares' comment saying that Mitch Johnson is the key. Who does he start? Who are you starting, Joe? You're the head coach of the Spurs. Who are you starting? Give me your starting five.
Barnes, Wemby.
Well, the first thing you said was Barnes. Look at that. That's funny. You want the
Harrison
Toyota
Barnes.
Corolla inside
Toyota
there.
Corolla. They're gonna get it done, baby, every night. You know what you're gonna get out of him. You're gonna get in the car and crank it. It's gonna start and get you home.
Yeah.
Barnes is gonna be in there. You gotta have Wemby, right? You're gonna have to go ahead and have Fox in the mix. You're gonna have to go ahead and put in Castle. Now, this is the part that's kind of dicey here. Who are you gonna start? Should you start Harper? Or should you start Sohan?
Okay. The answer is you start the number 2 player in the draft. You start Harper.
And what are you going to tell Sohan? Come off that bench, brother.
He did it last year. I mean, I know that there's this whole thing about defense, and then they get these free agents, and it's all about defense. You got to put the ball through the hoop at some point. And is Sohan that much better at threes than he was the year before?
No, bro, no. I mean, what's wrong with the bench if you have Vassell, right? You have Sohan and you have Keldon Johnson, and maybe you throw in cardio. I mean, what's wrong with it? And then you have that white boy, that goofy white boy they just got, Cornette or whatever. Cornette as the center. There you go. There's your second unit right there.
Rand G saying Jeremy's going to guard the best player on the other team. Can Harper do that? Let's stop with this whole thing about Jeremy Sohan being God's gift at defense. He's an above average defender. Yes. He's not God's gift at defense, man. He's not. You have Wemby back there. You don't need to have Sohan out there who can't shoot beyond 4 feet. I'm sorry. Harper's a starter because Harper can actually create a shot and make buckets. Castle's going to start because he can make a shot and he can create offense. There has to be a mix, Joe. This whole idea that we're going to be putting people out there like Carter Bryant to play nothing but defense and Sohan to play nothing but defense. Imagine a lineup with Carter Bryant and Sohan out there, dude. You'd be playing 3-on-5 offensively. That's what you'd be doing. Okay, Carter Bryant, Sohan, Cornette. You'd be playing 2-on-5 offensively. Dang, Chica. Where are you going dressed like that?
To work? That's what you're going to tell you?
She has a day off. Dang, girl, you ain't going anywhere with that. She's told me to be quiet. Joe, Spurs fans in their feelings today.
They want to win, dude. I don't blame them. I want the team to win too. I'm tired of the losing, dude. Everybody's tired of the losing. Everybody is.
Why does Tony say Chica's going to the HEB produce section?
That's where all the hot women hang out, I guess.
Well, we were talking about it. So can I tell them about that particular HEB? Okay, so there's a particular HEB here in Conroe that she gets checked out at pretty hardcore. We call it the Mexican HEB. The Mexican HEB, she's popular over there.
Demon Mike, calm down, killer.
Black Bucket says, Mike, let your girl shine. How will you describe what you're wearing, babe? Black mini leather skirt. White and black striped blouse. And heels. Yeah, I'm going with you. Wherever you're going, I'm going with you.
Oh. You're gonna be the security?
Yeah. The muscle. Yeah,
The
Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5, and he's trying to start things between me and Figs.
Oh, Lord. Jeff
That's
the
so funny.
instigator. Instead
Oh
of
yeah,
starting,
Jeff be the instigator.
just being
Whoever
the
that troll
instigator.
is. Whoever
Like
that troll is.
jump into the fray, Jeff. Say something with your chest out. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Mexican HEB guys say, "Do the washing machine, please."
Oh Lord. Yeah, but you know what? I'm just saying.
Thanks for the visual, Mike.
We're talking about the Spurs starting five, bench players, and whatnot. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody wants the team to get better, and whatever Mitch Johnson decides to do, hopefully, like we had said, he addresses that situation when it comes to what does the lineup look like. Don't get cute with the lineups. Put out a lineup, stick with it right out the gate. This is going to give you these are the best five that are going to give you the best chances of winning games. Don't
How
be
about
stupid.
this, Joe? How about this, Joe? Let's just cut to the chase. The 5 best players start. Well, why drew this Rubik's Cube of, well, maybe these 5 will gel together? The 5 best players on the team are Wemby, Barnes, Fox, Castle, Harper, and that's it. They just happen to play. Those are 2 wings, a guard, and 2 bigs. That's the starting lineup right there. Jonathan Bettis reaches out to us on our chat powered by PF Chang saying, Mike going to tell all the guys looking at Chica to make more money.
You know what? I'm still waiting for Chica to. I can't wait for her to get her tank top that has your face on it, and then wear it out in public somewhere.
I'll send you a photo of Chica in my tank top, my Edgar Mike tank top.
Oh God, dude, that's gonna be hilarious.
Ren G says, I like to check out soccer bombs at HEB too. All right, way to go, Ren.
Yeah. So
Joe, let's talk some pop culture, Joe.
Let's talk pop culture, man.
Let's talk pop culture. Let's talk about that new Jurassic Park movie, Rebirth.
Man. Okay,
starring
so
Scarlett Johansson.
I saw the movie before you did because I saw you on was it Saturday, I believe? You stopped by and you picked up the shirt. And I told you, you asked me, what'd you do? I said, I went and checked out the Jurassic Park movie with the kids, you know? And you're like, what did you think about it? I said, it was all right. It was pretty good. It's like, it's a popcorn flick. That's exactly what I told you. If you don't think about it and you don't ask questions, it's enjoyable, right? You sit down, it's like a little action adventure that is very,
formulaic.
It's
predictable.
Very predictable. That's the phrase. Very predictable. And I got to say, Mike, when you saw that little Mexican girl that's in there, didn't you get Dora the Explorer vibes, bro? Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. That is true.
You know, and you knew nothing was going to happen to that family,
well, don't give
bro.
away the movie. Don't give away the movie.
I'm just saying, man. You know, it's like
what you think is going to happen happens.
It's very safe. Let's put it that way.
What you
it's
think
very
is going to happen
predictable.
happens. He was calling the little girl Dora the Explorer.
She gave off that vibe, bro.
She gave the Dora the Explorer vibes. That's true. She was carrying a backpack. So, yes, that is true. No, they have a formula, Joe, that they go to every 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
the problem is, Joe, okay, nothing's ever going to beat the OG. The 1996 Jurassic Park, nothing's going to ever beat that. You're never going to beat Jeff Goldblum and all of those guys in that movie, right? I will say this, though, about this particular movie, okay? Rotten Tomatoes, 52% of critics liked it. 72% of fans liked it. It's better than the Chris Pratt Jurassic
by far.
movies,
It's better than the other irradiations of the Jurassic Park world or whatever the debacle was.
It's the best Jurassic Park movie since the original.
The original, yes. It is. It's a good one. It's enjoyable. Like I said, it's a popcorn flick, man. If you don't ask questions, you just sit down, you're going to be able to enjoy the movie. But if you want to get critical about things and you start picking it apart, some things just don't make any damn sense, you know? But
yeah,
that's not why you're there. This is just one of those popcorn flicks. And Chica didn't. What did she say? She said something about it. What did she describe it as?
How did Chica describe Jurassic Park? I mean, she just thought it was. She thought it was cheesy. She basically says.
There you go.
She said it was cheesy. She said that it was the formulaic and all that stuff. You go into the movie, right? You know who's going to live and who's going to die just simply by looking at the characters, right?
Bro,
there's no surprise at all, because has there ever been a surprise in a Jurassic Park movie? Never. Never. Now I
The
will say this,
original
Joe.
Jurassic Park. Nothing happened to that little girl that went on the beach. You know, she got bit by those little freaking dinosaurs and
That freaking
survived.
dinosaur was like 3 inches from her nose in the first movie. Did she
Yeah.
die? No.
Come on.
It's kind of like the scary movies. You know, when they say things like, if you have sex in one of those horror movies, you're gonna die, but the virgins always live. It's like that in Jurassic Park. The kids live.
You know, when you think about it, Mike, the
Yeah.
people who died in the movie, I'm not going to say who it is because I'm not going to ruin it. It was very diverse.
Dude, remember the original Jurassic Park when he had the guy who played Newman from Seinfeld?
Oh, God.
Ugh.
Yeah.
When he died on the crapper? That was great. That's probably
That
the
wasn't
best
him.
scene
He
ever.
didn't die on the crapper. That
Oh,
was
wait,
the
who was
lawyer.
it?
It was the lawyer that died on the
The
crapper.
lawyer died on the crapper. He died by he got spat at, right, by that velociraptor, right?
That was Nedry. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the Barbasol can,
Yeah.
and he was trying to hide everything in there. Yeah, dude. I mean, and oh my god, this was a long ass movie. It was 2 hours and 10 minutes long.
Yeah, it went by pretty quick though.
Did you watch it in 2D or 3D?
No, I watched it in 2D. I don't watch that 3D shit, dude. It messes with your eyes. It's hard, dude, to keep your eyes focused on that thing, and then it's just weird, man.
Yeah. Joe, you and I haven't gone to our movie for the summer, man. We went to a movie last summer.
Yeah, we got to go and check
We
out a
saw
movie.
Twisters.
You know what we're gonna go see, Mike?
What's that?
F1. I hear that's a
I
really
want to
good
watch
film.
that.
In
Yes.
IMAX, though, we got to go check it out in IMAX.
I don't know if Chica would want to go to that movie with me.
It has Brad Pitt. I mean, that's all you got to say.
Yeah,
He'll
but
be there.
it doesn't have 30-year-old Brad Pitt. It has 6-year-old Brad Pitt. I don't think she's
She'll
gonna be
still
excited about
go.
watching 6-year-old Brad
You
Pitt.
know what? Chica will go and watch it with us as long as there's drinks.
Oh, what's that, baby? Oh yeah, she's not into white dudes.
Oh Lord.
She's a fan of The Rock. That's her celebrity crush.
Look at that. Did Joe just say the people who died? Yep, I sure did. The
Yeah,
ones that
we have to pay a 25-cent royalty every time to Mike Taylor's show for that.
they
Because
got
that's even phraseology that we use here at the house. That somebody
Yeah.
got died. That's a Mike Taylor.
Oh yeah, look at this. I was telling Elias because I was on his show the other day on Saturday. We did a live stream on his Plead the Sith show, and it was funny. I was cooking people. I was calling people out, you know. But the funny thing is, I told Elias, I said, next time you get Mike on the show, I said, ask him about Star Wars. He absolutely hates it.
It's not that I hate Star Wars. I just don't get it. I don't get the appeal. Even as a kid, I would see all my friends get all excited and play with these toys, these this spaceship and pew 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 pew, and I never had that in my life. I just no. Transformers, Star Wars, all of that, Joe, that fantasy realm just doesn't exist in my life. Never did. But I would say that Star Wars is the best movie ever about a young man who's in love with his sister. Because isn't that what the whole movie's about?
No, bro, it's not.
Was there a young man in love with his sister?
He wasn't in love with her, dude.
Luke was not in love with Leia? You sure
No.
about that?
Yes.
Sure about that?
Yes, bro. It wasn't about that. Mike's missing the whole point.
Yeah,
whole
Tony's
point.
on the chat right here calling Chewbacca my primo.
Everybody has a relative of some kind, in their family named Chewie.
That is true. Every Latino family does have a Chewie in the family.
They make fun of you. That's the thing with the Mexicanos, right? They get the one thing that you're very sensitive about, and they're gonna call you gordo. Ahí viene gordo. That's what they're gonna do. They always do stuff like that. Güero,
Güero.
güero, gordo, güero. Something. I mean, they always do something.
That's sad, man. Mexicans are mean. We have thick skin, baby.
That's just how things go. But we need to definitely go check out F1.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, dude. Sith coming out and saying that Star Wars is literally about politics and trade route spaces. Trade routes in space.
Look at Sith says, laugh my ass off. He goes, I'm Chewie. Jesus.
Okay, first of all, Chewie, that line from Fools Rush In with the Salma Hayek and Matthew Perry, when the ex boyfriend's named Chewie, and Matthew Perry is like, "I'm Han Solo. How are you doing?" Sith coming out saying my nickname growing up was Negro. And I have a cousin named Chino.
You know you do, Chito. Ahí viene Chito.
He got some side of Joe saying that there's people in the family that are all named Güero, Gordo,
Chito. Flaco.
Flaco.
Oh, you know what they used to call my uncle, dude? He was a big guy, big, tall dude, Mexican guy,
Yeah.
big guy. And he was dark. And the whole family would call him La Bola Preta, the dark ball. You know, that's what it
What's that?
translates. That's my uncle. They used to call him that. And mira, ahí viene La Bola Preta. I'm like, oh, bro, man. Why? Oh, pelón, of course.
Pelón,
Pelón.
Corta, Chaparro.
Or they make fun of your teeth. You know, you have uncles that have no teeth or something like that. Ay, no
Chimuelo.
tiene. Chimuelo. Ahí viene Chimuelo. You know, it's like Mexicans do that kind of stuff, dude. You go to the cookout, you got nicknames for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Ahí viene la chismosa, you know, your aunt, you know?
Yeah.
Tells everybody what's going on with the family business, you know? It
Hey,
is
Joe, I was
what it
reading
is.
earlier about the Kevin Durant trade to the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
It ended up being a 7-team trade.
The hell?
Did you see that? It was the first time ever in NBA history that 7 teams agreed to one trade.
And who was it for?
That was the part of the Kevin Durant trade.
Oh God.
It took 7 teams to figure it all out. Okay, so here are the highlights of it all. Well, there's a trade. Shams Charania of The Athletic reporting on a trade right now. Within the past hour, the Clippers, Jazz, and Heat have agreed to a trade that sends Norman Powell to the Miami Heat. John Collins is on his way to the Clippers. And Kevin Love and former Spur Kyle Anderson are going to the Jazz. Jazz are also getting a second-round pick. Let's see here. The trade that involved Kevin Durant. Houston got Kevin Durant and Clint Capella. Phoenix got Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Kaman Maluach, Rasheer Fleming, Kobe Brea, Daquan Plowden, and a second-rounder. Golden State got Alex Tui, Jemai Mashak. Brooklyn got 2 second-rounders. Atlanta got a second-round swap in David Roddy in cash. Minnesota got Rocco Zakarski, 2 second-rounders in cash. And Adu Theoro goes to the Lakers. It was a 7-team trade. Let's talk about that, Joe, real fast.
It's crazy.
We talk about when superstars leave a team, can you get 100 cents on the dollar? It never happens, right? When the Spurs lost Kawhi Leonard, we got DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl in a first-rounder, which I believe became Keldon Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. We got like 50 cents on the dollar on that. Giving up a 35-year-old Kevin Durant and getting Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Kaman Maluach, who was the number 7 player in the draft or 10 player in the draft, 10 player in the draft this year out of Duke. Rasheer Fleming, who many people thought was going to go in the mid-teens, fell to the second round. Phoenix got Rasheer Fleming. They got Kobe Brea, Plowden, and a second-rounder. How do you think Phoenix fared in giving up Kevin Durant, who had 2 years left on his contract?
I don't know.
I think that's a good 70 cents on the dollar, Joe. I think Phoenix did a pretty decent job. They're obviously going to be worse than when if they would have kept Kevin Durant, but I don't think that's a bad haul. Not at all.
JC saying, yo, he goes, good morning. He goes, nice shirt, Mike. Joe, where can we buy those? If you look at the overlay here, it's showing you right there in the upper right-hand corner. There's
where it
the
says
QR
merch
code.
now available, just hit the QR code.
Yep, hit that QR code, and it'll take you straight to the merch store on 4th Wall, where you can go buy the merch. And you know what? I got to say, I thought the quality of the shirts were really good.
Yeah, Chica agreed. The original shirts that we had last year felt a little bit more stiff. I mean, the design looked nice, but they felt a little bit more stiff. This one's pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it's a different brand. It's not Gildan. It's a a different type of shirt. So I washed mine already, and I got to say, I lightly dried it, in the
Yeah.
dryer, not in the high setting, because I don't want it to shrink and all that. It was fine. Came out perfectly fine.
Jason Garcia says the biggest guy in the family is always called Tiny. Jason, I'll be reaching out to you later on today. Hey, if you can show my number, Joe. My number is 210-508-0369. 210-508-0369. If you have any questions about investments or insurances, retirement accounts, have an old 401k that needs to be rolled over, have an IRA someplace else that you would like for me to manage, for example, 210-508-0369. People are asking about life insurance, disability, long-term care. We're getting to the point of the year, Joe, where it gets kind of hectic and crazy because every September people get their open enrollments, so they have to turn it in by October. So it gets really, really busy. People start asking about questions about life insurance and their benefits at work. Reach out to me, 210-508-0369. Mario Cavasso saying I look like a bouncer in this T-shirt.
Well, you're intimidating.
I'm going to ask Chica that question. Is that an urban legend, Joe?
Yeah. And they're saying, Joe, when do the winter shirts go out? They're probably, I believe they're set to go ahead and be shipped out sometime this week. We put in the order, but they haven't shipped out yet. They're still being, let's say, they're in a pending stage right now where they're going to go ahead and print them out. And then once they print them out, they mail them off to you guys. And once they're mailed out to you guys, I'll let you know when they're on the actual way to your homes.
Yeah. Sith asking the question, when am I going to be on his podcast? Anytime, baby. Anytime. Just tell me when.
There you go. And look at
but Joe, we're kind of in that time frame right now, Joe, where there's not a lot going on right now. The draft is over. Baseball, who really cares unless you're at the game? There's not any big boxing matches going on right now. We're kind of in a dull area, lull of sports right now. So we have to kind of come up with some pop culture references the next couple of days to kind of debate. Maybe we'll debate some movies and whatnot. Chica and I were watching over the weekend that new Kevin Hart mini series that's on Netflix. It was all right.
Yeah.
Should maybe watch some Tyler Perry movie. Now, most Tyler Perry movies, I would never stumble upon and go out and seek them myself.
No Medea?
Right. But she's introduced me to a few Tyler Perry movies that have been pretty good. This one we disagreed on, right? This one, I thought it was called Straw. It's one of the new releases on Netflix. Chica loved it. I thought it was all right. I thought it was silly. It was like a thriller.
Yeah.
It was all right. Chica loved it though.
Yeah. I don't know what I was watching. I was trying to think. What did I watch? Oh, I watched a movie called Damsel. My daughter picked that out on Netflix. It was all right. It has that Millie Bobby Brown or something in there.
Yeah.
From Stranger Things. It was all right.
Hey, Mario Cavazos is saying that Cavante Turpin got arrested.
Yeah, I saw that. They were talking about
weed and a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Is weed illegal and is owning a gun illegal? What was he being arrested for?
Yeah, from the Dallas Cowboys. They had talked about that. I saw that briefly here in the morning. They were mentioning that.
Sith is saying that Daddy's Little Girls is the best Tyler Perry flick. Chica agrees over here. Sam Salinas is getting right to what I was getting to. Cowboys training camp starts on July 21st. Training camp is right around the corner. That's when we get excited.
Yeah, it says All-Pro return. Okay. Turpin for the Cowboys was arrested in his Dallas suburb on a misdemeanor charge for marijuana possession and an unlawful carrying of a weapon, authorities say.
If it's a misdemeanor, why are you getting arrested?
They said the 28-year-old is out of jail on bond. So he's already out.
The bond's like $1,000. What? Getting arrested for a misdemeanor? Are you serious?
Yep.
Nice.
But he's a Dallas Cowboy officially now because he got arrested.
What you're saying is breakout season, right, Joe?
Breakout season, brother. At least he didn't get caught with coke or nothing in the car.
What was that called when the Cowboys had that? The cocaine house? Was that the White House?
Yeah. The Michael Irvin and all these other guys in the locker room getting caught with coke and all this stuff.
And what's funny is that if you talk to Michael Irvin now, you think that the way that he talks on TV is like a persona, that he's like amped up, dude. He's like that in real life, dude. I have briefly spoken to him. The guy's just wired. I don't know what it is, man.
He's just sweating the storm, bro.
He's always sweating,
He needs
always
a
heating
towel.
up.
Yeah, he has to have a towel with him. He's sweating through the suit, you know.
Sweats through suits. Joe, he's kind of like P Diddy. Remember P Diddy used to have that guy that would go around with the umbrella?
What was he called?
He needs a towel guy.
What was he called? I forgot his name. They gave him a name. His manservant. That's what it was.
Manservant, yeah. Manservant, yeah. We know what that means.
Yep. Exactly. Hey, did you do anything else for the 4th of July besides just go see Jurassic Park?
We saw Jurassic Park. We went to San Antonio to celebrate my daughter's birthday. Gabby girl turned 22. I don't know if I need to call her Gabby girl anymore. Okay, let me ask you this question about Mexican families, because Chica was making fun of this, right? If you have somebody named Junior, for example, right? So I'll give you an example. My nephew is named Jerry, right?
Okay.
He's a junior. We've never referred to him as Junior. We've always referred to him as Baby Jerry or Little Jerry.
Baby Jerry.
He is now 33 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
At what point do you drop off Little Jerry? Because we also have a grandnephew who is 9 that we call Baby David. He's not a baby anymore. When do you drop off Little or Baby? I mean, even the conjunto singer Little Joe is still called Little Joe, and he's like 90.
You gotta stop, dude. Once they start, getting into like past elementary, they're in middle school already. I mean, come on, they're young adults now, dude. They're not babies no more, Come on.
But Joe, you know that's a thing, right?
It is a thing. I know that because I have a cousin. He's like 6'2", 6'3", and I call him Louie, but the family still calls him Baby Louie. I'm like, that motherfucker ain't no baby no more. He's like 6'3", got like 3-4 kids already. Like, come on. Baby Louie, no mames, bro.
Baby Louie is 33 with 6'3" with 4 kids.
He's my age already. It's like the brother. I'm like, he ain't a baby no more. What do y'all call him that, dude? Like, for real.
Sam
Baby Louie? No, bro.
Sam Salinas on our stream, powered by PF Chang, saying, dude, I feel the pain. 44 years old, and my effing family members still call me Sammy. I've always hated that name.
Bro.
It's my parents' fault.
Sammy, like, come on, bro. Like, hey, man, here comes Sam. What's up, bro? How's it going? Sammy, ahí viene Sammy. No, man.
Ahí viene Sammy.
No.
How about Ito at the end? Samuelito.
Miguelito. That's what we're going to call you when you're late.
My parents call me that to this day, Joe.
I told that to Elias. I said, we're going to call Mike Miguelito when he's late. Miguelito decided to show up for work.
If he's over 250 pounds, Black Bucket says, you can still call him Little.
No, God. What is this?
Tony says, I still call my cousin who's over 50 Danny Boy.
Jeez, bro. Danny Boy. God, man. Hey, we have a cousin of mine, too. His name is Michael. We call him Mike or whatever. And my tia still say, mira, Mikey. I'm just like, oh, my God, bro. Like, they act like he's like 8 or 10 years old. The brother's like 40. Come on, Mikey. Come on. That one still kills me, though. My cousin, look, here comes Baby Louie. I'm like, bro.
And are you a jerk for standing up for yourself and saying, hey, don't call me that?
No, bro. You got to stop it at some point. Be like, who you talking to, man? My name's Sam, like Sammy. He says, I hate Sammy. Just tell him, hey, who you talking to? My name's Sam, man.
No, but, Gabby, we call Gabby girl. And my family refers to Ava as Ava girl. When do we drop off the girl? Gabby's 22 years old. She goes to bars. She has a professional career. She's a college graduate. Do I have to drop, or can I still call her Gabby girl because that's my kid?
Man. And Gabby's hustling too out there. Don't play darts with Gabby because she'll take money, bro.
Very nice. Joe, let's call it a show, Joe. We'll be back on tomorrow, man. We'll come up with some pop culture references and whatnot. And apparently I got to go get some restraining order against whoever Figs is because he's flapping his gums on Twitter right now.
God. Yo, that's how you know you arrived, Mike, when you get the trolls coming at you, you know?
Oh, I know.
It
I
always
know.
happens. But Jeff's stirring the pot, you know?
I
Jeff
know
likes
it's
to be
Jeff.
the instigator. He likes to go ahead and stir the pot and then wipe his hands clean and runs away.
What did we say, Joe? We gave the San Antonio Spurs 24 hours to make a donation, right?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? The Houston
I-
Texans made a donation. Dallas Cowboys made a donation. The NFL Players Association made a donation. George Strait made a donation. Why haven't the Spurs made a big announcement of a big fat check going that way?
I'm the
It's our
opposite way.
backyard.
I'm in the opposite spectrum of things, though. It's just like if they do decide to make a donation and stuff, I mean, that's up to them. I mean, it's just the same as calling out any bigger business here in town, you know, whether it be HEB, you already know HEB's out there in force, you know.
HB's already doing it, man. USAA better. Call out USAA if they haven't done anything yet.
Well, you know, you do say that San
You-
Antonio is a poor city, so how many big corporations do we have here, Mike?
Well, the ones that are there should be doing something. USAA should do something.
You want them to
Boeing
donate millions? You
should
want
do
them to
something.
donate millions and you call them a poor city? What are you gonna
Those
say?
corporations aren't poor. Boeing ain't poor.
What, they can't afford
USAA
to
ain't
donate?
poor.
What are you
USAA
gonna
ain't
say?
poor. They got a building that's a mile long, literally a mile long. They're fine.
What are you gonna say if they
I'm
can't afford to make a
I'm sure they get
donation?
breaks on CPS and SAWS bills.
If they can't afford to make the donation, what are you gonna tell them? Make more money.
Yeah. Tony Ronaldo saying all the taquerias in San Antonio should donate. Everybody should, dude. Chica and I will make something happen. But Joe, we'll be back tomorrow, Joe. Thank you so much. And thank you to PF Chang's as well. Go visit Sean Quintero when you're out there. Go ask for Sean. He's one of the big guys in charge over there.
It's the Elias calling out old host locals. I'll be visiting the establishment in person to teach them a lesson.
Jeez, thank you so much for that.
Oh God! All right, boys. We'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. We're out. Peace.
See ya.